This indicator shows us clues that crypto could be headed for lower prices. Well, welcome back to the Crypto Channel, bringing a radical, innovative new approach to crypto analysis, combining technical analysis with astrology, but none of this content is financial or investment advice. This content is intended for educational purposes only. So I've been showing this over and over, but we might as well show you the latest update here. This indicator has been very accurate, the last, for a long time now, really a year. Bitcoin has been following this yellow line. This is the global liquidity index. But it is also taken back so that it's lined up perfectly with the Bitcoin price action, or pretty closely. And you can see when the yellow line goes up, Bitcoin goes on a massive pump. When the yellow line goes down, Bitcoin stalls out or dumps. And so we saw when it went down in January, Bitcoin stalled out for a while. The market went into more fear. Then we did get this little pump here in the yellow line, and then Bitcoin got a nice pump. But then we fell off very steeply after that. And, we've been stuck in this range here. But it's interesting that if we zoom in, each time we get a upswing on the yellow line here, Bitcoin gets a day in the green. So we go up, we get a green. We go down, we get a red. We go up, we get a green. We stall out, we get a red. We go up, we get a green. And look at this. This is a big pump today. So really the next 12 hours has a lot of potential to go up. I'm surprised it hasn't gone up more. It could also extend out to the 16th potentially. That's the 15th in the United States. And then it drops down for a bit. And it does pump up again a little bit on the February 20th. But then after that, it's game over. It's lights out until the end of March. So that's a huge concern. That's one of the main reasons I sold most of my bags, as I explained in my last video. So if you're interested about that, you can take a look at my previous video. Okay, and I will also explain towards the end of this video on exactly why specifically my life is in a very unique situation, which also inspired me to be a lot more cautious at this time. But it's good to be aware that each one of us investors has our own unique life goals and life circumstances, and we should adjust our own individual strategy accordingly. But don't just do what I'm doing, because you're in your own unique situation. Some people are willing to take on more risk than others. Okay. So another thing I want to look at is the Bitcoin dominance. We zoom in, we go to the 1 hour, and we see this interesting trend where the Bitcoin dominance, you look at this trend line, has been trending down, since February 10th. And what do? We dump, then we go up, we test the trend line, we dump, then we test it again, we dump again, and then we test the trend line. We're almost exactly testing the trend line now, and we're already getting a dump. So it might already be good enough, have gotten close enough to that trend line that we could be headed down for now. That's why I'm feeling pretty bullish in the very short term, really in the next 12 hours before the daily close, that we could see something like this where we bounce off of here and we get a dump in the Bitcoin dominance. And this is on the hourly scale. And a dump in the Bitcoin dominance could show a pump for the altcoins. So if we go to the altcoins on the hourly chart, we're on a nice little uptrend so far. They have gotten a bit of a correction, and maybe there's a little bit more, but we could be back up soon. But this is very short term, next 12 hours. If we go to total 3, yeah, same thing. So the altcoins are looking pretty bullish. There's a decent uptrend so far. You look at where it's going right here. It's going up and up and up. So basically, I plan to sell most of my positions in the next 12 hours. I'll potentially hold a little bit longer, but For sure, that's most of my positions in the next 12 hours. Another thing I want to look at is the, let's see here, the daily exchange volume still has just been falling off. Let's update this, see if we've got the latest update. I mean, the more this goes down, the more, I mean, it just keeps going down. It's just really not good. I mean, we're breaking down below these levels here. Yeah, so that's really not gone. We're gone down to 50 now. So when the daily exchange volume breaks down, any rallies don't last, typically. Most rallies are not sustainable. That's why ever since we broke down, December, ever since we broke down, things just have not been holding up, especially for the altcoins, also for Bitcoin. All right. Now, let's take a look at the astrology, shall we? So we look at the Bitcoin astrology chart. Look at what's coming up here. Now, we do have, this is an interesting transit. I'll talk about this. But then we have the Saturn conjunct the Bitcoin Uranus, which can bring caution, contraction, but also consolidation. So that's coming up in a couple days now, 48 hours, really. We do have a fairly positive Neptune sextiling the Bitcoin Jupiter, which we get a direct hit on March. So that's slightly positive. But then on the 10th, we get the Saturn opposing the Bitcoin Saturn, which is very concerning, as that could bring more of a contraction as well. If we haven't already seen enough downside, there could be more. There could be more coming here, guys. Just want to be honest. That's what we do on the channel. We don't sugarcoat things. We don't try to make things sound better than they are. We just tell you exactly what we're seeing in the charts, including the astrology, as you can see here. Okay. And I also want to show y'all these important charts. These are the Bitcoin holders with 10,000 Bitcoin. So these are the whales here. Let's look at what the whales did in the last bull run. Well, they were accumulating a little bit on the way up, but then right when Bitcoin was, getting past what levels were those? I believe when it was getting close to like 50,000 and then 60,000, whales, they were selling like crazy. Look how it just falls off a cliff here. And then when the bear market started, they started accumulating aggressively. All right, this is smart money. They know what they're doing. And then when the bull market started, they started selling since the start of the bull market. All right, so they are selling all the way as Bitcoin goes up. And they just continue selling more and more and more and more. We are at levels now that we haven't been at since, really, towards the end of the last bull run. So yeah, that's a little concerning, to say the least. And then here's the NUPL. Now, this has been a great indicator for the previous bull markets. As you can see, each time Bitcoin, the white line, topped out, we got the NUPL indicator peaking out in the blue. Every time we get a peak for Bitcoin, it gets in the blue. For previous historic bull runs, and then 2017, it was in the blue. But then when we got into 2021, it starts to get lower. And as you can see, each bull run, the NUPL indicator gets lower and lower. Very important to note. So around when Bitcoin was like past 60K, it was peaking out, topping out with the green. But then, as you can see, it gets shorter and shorter each time. Even in November 2020, it got fairly low. And then now we're honestly almost at the same height as we were in 2021 November. And so arguably that could be the peak. I'm being totally honest. It's hard to argue against that. This could not be the peak. So yeah, big concern there. Another reason why I'm selling my bags for the most part. I do have some higher risk altcoins still because those are in the red in my portfolio. So I might as well just hold those on in case we do break out. Or maybe just hold them until the next bull run. One thing that could be our saving grace. Well, one thing for the astrology is right here, Pluto conjunct the Bitcoin Mercury. Pluto is the planet of power, of wealth, also regeneration, conjuncting the Bitcoin Mercury, the planet of trading and communication. So there's a chance that this could be bullish, but as astrologers, we really don't know, because this transit has never happened before. We've never had Pluto conjunct the Bitcoin Mercury. So we really just have to wait and see, because it could also bring a correction, as Pluto can really crash things down and then regenerate, the phoenix rising from the ashes. But this is going to be a huge transit for the rest of the year. If we go up for the next 12 months, we look at this transit, it's in effect all the way through the year. Direct hit in February 25th coming up, then July 16th, and then again, well, January 3rd of next year. So it's really in effect for this entire year. It's the themes is bringing transformation to Bitcoin as a potential means of exchange. So could Bitcoin start to, be more on the world stage, as it is already, where Trump is, building a possible Bitcoin reserve, as are other countries. And could Bitcoin, I think there's gonna be a lot of communication about Bitcoin on the world stage, which is great. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on the 25th. Are we going to be getting a Bitcoin correction? Certainly could. Even if we get a correction, it still could be bullish, because the next couple transits in July and January next year could be a bit more bullish. It could bring transformation to Bitcoin. So really, we'll just have to see. But this is an extremely powerful transit, and it's really going to be building out the themes for Bitcoin this year. I think it's going to be very powerful, very transformative year for crypto. And additionally, March 1st, I will be really keeping my eyes on this chart, the ISM. And you look at the blue line. I'll clean this up. And every time this blue line goes up, we get a Bitcoin bull run. So we just got an uptick this month, which is very good. So if we get another uptick next month, that's going to be more on the bullish side. If we get, if it falls back down, that's going to be a lot more bearish. I would be leaning more in that scenario, because, well, I talked about this in my last video, but we have a total lunar eclipse coming up. And anyways, you got to watch my previous video to really learn about this. I've been talking about this so many times. Don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but we have this total lunar eclipse coming up, and every 12 out of 13 times we've gotten a dump or a bear market for Bitcoin historically. All right, I've gone through all the history books and looked at that. So that's huge concern. That's one of the main reasons, honestly, why I'm selling most of my bags. Okay, let's see if there's anything else to share with y'all. Oh yes, of course. The final thing I wanted to share today is that one of the personal reasons, which will make sense, is I had a meeting with my wife recently, and we have a baby due in March, guys. We've got a baby coming, baby on the way. And I need to be calm and mentally focused and not stressed out with crypto next month. Plus, like I've already said, the indicators are not looking good, especially with this total lunar eclipse. So this is for me and my life situation with my family. That's one of the main reasons I'm being way more cautious now. Additionally, I could be totally wrong. Maybe for the first time in a very, very first time in decades, perhaps Bitcoin could get a pump on this total lunar eclipse. But I'm just not going to be going against the odds on this one. I think it leans in favor of more of a dump in March. We could even get a black swan event. Certainly possible. Definitely not saying that y'all should be doing what I'm doing. You need to make your own investment decisions. Will I be buying back into the market? That will depend on if we are getting a Bitcoin dominance dump, which we still haven't seen yet, And it needs to be a very sizable dump. We'd probably need to see a monthly close. Yeah, I need to see a monthly close like below this 50% level. Like that's at 56.3% on the Bitcoin dominance. I would need to see the daily exchange volume going back up. So far, it's just falling off a cliff. And I'd need to see the business cycle increase in March, like I talked about that. Well, the ISM, also known as the business cycle. If those things happen, then things would be flipping a lot more bullish, and I would consider buying back in. But I don't expect that to happen likely until after March. But we'll see. We'll see. These are highly, highly volatile markets. They often do the opposite of what we think sometimes. So we'll have to see what happens. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Let's see what questions we got here. Does Neptune moving to Aries in March affects the price of Bitcoin? That will likely bring a major market shift. So either we are heading down or it is heading back up after March, perhaps. It could also bring in the best case scenario, quantitative easing, which would be extremely bullish for crypto and for markets. Don't trust his predictions. He has been... Okay. We always got haters, guys. You know that the haters only show up when the videos are getting more views? So, in a way, it's good to get haters. On YouTube, at least. I believe March are pivotal not just to all of us, but to the prices too. Can you check if Neptune will affect the crypto prices by March? Yeah, certainly Neptune could. And we're getting a ton of planets heading into Pisces, which, as you can see, the Sun, Mercury, Saturn, North Node, and Neptune are going to be in Pisces. And Pisces is not necessarily the best energy for markets because it's kind of like, it's very watery. It's kind of like the energy of water slipping through your fingers. Like, it's hard to maintain your gains. So markets sometimes don't like too much Pisces energy. So that's not looking super great. I feel like Pluto conjunct Mercury is like a two-headed dragon going in the same direction, and Pluto's power, I think, up. If it was a square opposition, then I'd think down. Yeah, so yeah, it could be on the way up. I mean, Pluto conjunct, what was it? Pluto conjunct the Bitcoin Jupiter was very bullish. We had the 2021 bull run. Yeah, so it certainly could be. Michael, what's up, brother? Hi, Jack. Just stopped by and heard your good news. Congrats, brother. Oh, thanks, mother. Thanks, brother. I can't believe it. Yeah, so we have our second child on the way. It's super, super exciting. We still don't know the sex. The baby was not letting us see yet, but we will hear about what the sex is by March 4th. Yeah, if you bought at the bottom, you are up that little bit left of gains. Isn't worth the distraction from your life. Yeah, exactly. I bought XRP at 50 cents, so I've gotten some pretty good gains. Certainly could get more, but March is just not looking good enough for me to risk that. Pisces energy are so tricky. I believe moving some planets to Aries gives it more of an aggressive side. Yeah, I mean, Aries will be way, way more aggressive. And that could bring a lot of new energy into the markets. Could be good, or it could also be a correction before a rebound. We'll have to see. Yeah, it'll be very interesting. This is going to be an extremely, extremely volatile year. We're already seeing so many changes, especially in the United States with this new presidential cabinet in there. Really exciting, in my opinion. But, you know, we also could see some crazy events this year. Some astrologers are even saying it could be even crazier than 2020. Man, we'll have to see. Let's all pray for the best potential possible outcome for humanity to live in peace this year, to create more peace this year, dissolve the conflicts, and yeah, let's figure this out as one humanity. All right, everybody. Sending so much love to you all. Just wanted to come on here late at night here in Southeast Asia to give you all an update on what I'm thinking. Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.